Hey, welcome to another class of Tuesday Night Beer School with me, Chad of Chad's Beer Reviews. And joining us from Ohio is Brett from Urban Artifact. What's going on, man?
Hey, Chad, how are you?
Good. It's been a while. I haven't seen you since we did all those Guinnesses.
Yeah, I don't know what the plural Guinness is, but yeah, that was back in March. Yeah, it's been a minute.
So we're doing a completely different style than Irish beers. We're going straight to Belgian sours, and I asked Brett to do this particular style with me because he works and co-owns Urban Artifact in Cincinnati, right?
Yes. Yep.
You guys do all fruited kettle sours, which is different than the way the Belgians do sours. Can you give the viewers a quick overview on that?
Yeah, so basically we make all of our sours by making the wort, pumping it to a stainless steel tank, and adding a very specific strain of lactobacillus. So it's a very clean, very kind of simple acidity. And then we finish it off with a regular brewer's yeast to keep that clean acidity going throughout the beer. Everything's about basically simplifying the acidification process with how we handle our sour beers. The Belgians, on the other hand, embrace the wild. They do things in barrels, whether they be smaller barrels like your standard 50 to 60 gallon barrel, all the way up to your thousands of gallon fooders. They use wild yeast. They use bacteria, wild bacteria, all sorts of different types. And it's a whole melange of wild organisms, microorganisms that they harness in order to make a sour, dry, funky beverage that takes a lot of animal handling, if you will, wrangling of these different wild yeasts and bacterias and coaxing them along and treating them well and getting them to do their thing. It's more of like, goat herding than it is scientific brewing process, more art and romance than it is science and manufacturing. So I know it's a little long-winded answer, but
yeah. And like the way that the Belgians do it, it's kind of a little bit of luck involved too. And it's like a lot of waiting, whereas like the Americans is like a factory production, you know?
Yes. We're 21 days start to finish. They're 24 months.
I never homebrewed a sour, but I remember like you and Aaron, some other people in the homebrew club did it. And it's like the way you would do is you would actually mash and then add lacto and then wait like a week or two. Is that how it worked?
Yeah. Mash, collect that wort, add your lactobacillus, wait. Really, it's only about 3 days, 3 to 5 days. And then you can
then boil.
Yep.
Okay.
Then boil. Then
you do the same thing at the brew house scale?
Yep, that's the same exact process. What we learned and developed at the Albany Brew Crafters, we took and scaled up at Urban Artifact.
Cool. All right, well, let's get into the beer of the day. So we were talking about style 23E Gueuze. Actually, I don't think it's pronounced Gueuze. Is it pronounced like Gurza or something?
You'd know more than me.
All right, we're just gonna say Gueuze. We're Americans. A very refreshing, highly carbonated, pleasantly sour but balanced wild Belgian wheat beer. The wild beer character can be complex and varied, combining sour, funky, and fruity aromas. All right, so let's go down to our comments on that stuff. Blending young and aged lambic creates a more complex product and often reflects the personal taste of the blender. Noticeable vinegary or cidery character is considered a fault. A good Gueuze is not the most pungent, but possesses a full and tantalizing bouquet. That's tantalizing. A sharp aroma and a soft, velvety texture. Lambic is served uncarbonated, while Gueuze is served sparkling. Products marked oud or veal are considered most traditional. All right, so history, we're going to skip that. You can pause and read if you want. Sorry, it's one of those ones where it's like half on one column, the others. All right, so let's look at our characteristics and ingredients. Same as Lambic, except that 1, 2, and 3-year-old lambics are blended, then cellared. Style comparison, more complex and carbonated than a lambic. The sourness isn't necessarily stronger, but it tends to have more of a well-developed wild character. Look at our IBU, 0 to 10. 5 to 6 SRM, pretty light in color. Pretty low gravity. Well, it can get, they're saying it can get up as high as 8%. And, 3 Fontaine and Cantillon, probably the most famous examples. Lindemann's the most readily available example. But Brett and I were both able to get Gueuze Tilquin, Is that how you pronounce it? I don't know.
Tilquin is what I say, but again, Americans.
If you flip it around to the back, mine's best before November 19th, 2031. So you've got December 1st, 2030. I believe that's a 10-year bottling date. So this would have been from 2021 and yours would have been from 2020. So as you can see, we got cage and cork here. So give us a minute to pour this over the sink, obviously, and we will get right back into the aroma. All right, we are back. We got our Gueuze. I'm using my Spiegel crystal tulip glass. What do you got there?
A CBC glass from Nashville this year. Support local beer.
Cool. All right, well, we always start with aroma, so let's give it a whiff. I love that. I love that wild character. It's like you're like in the countryside. But it's like I've never been to a Granny Smith apple orchard, but I would imagine this is kind of what it smells like. I get like Granny Smith apple, green pear, white grape.
My favorite thing about smelling a dry Gueuze that is nice and tart is the first thing that hits me is right there, and that cranial nerve, and your mouth starts to water. Oh, you know you're in for a treat when that happens.
Go ahead.
I get like hay, wet hay, and a really like bready wheat kind of character coming through on the aroma. Those are the two things that stand out most to me.
Going off aroma alone, I would say like this is more like tart smelling than it is sour smelling. You know, like your types of beers, like as soon as you smell them, you just, you know, they smell like yogurt. I don't get the yogurt on this one. I just get Brett. Not you. Brettanomyces.
Yeah, I get some like fruit. I'm getting those same fruit notes, but to me, it's more like dried apple than necessarily like fresh. But so I could see like I could see that orchard aroma though that you're talking about for sure.
Let's check the specs for aroma. Moderately sour with complex but balanced funkiness, accented by fruity notes. The funkiness can be moderate to strong and can be described as barnyard, leather, earthy, goaty, hay, horsey, or horse blanket. Yeah, moderately sour. Okay, I agree with that. Balanced, yep. Fruity notes, definitely.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting kind of that country terroir characters. I don't really get leather.
No, I don't get specific horse blanket either on this, but I definitely get the hay.
Fruitiness is light to moderate with the citrus fruit, citrus rind, palm fruit, or rhubarb quality. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I don't really get citrus. To me, it's more green fruit. Maybe like a tiny little bit of like orange or lemon in there, but it's more green fruit.
I could see that rhubarb for sure.
Malt is supportive and can be lightly bready, grainy, honey, or wheat-like if noticeable. Yeah, we said bready. Should not have enteric, smoky, cigar-like, or cheesy fault. See, cheesy fault, they mean like that's like butyric acid or something like that, right?
Yeah, it's more like that, the like bad hop cheesiness, or the butyric cheesiness. It's to me, it's more like a caprylic acid cheesiness, which is really close to like goaty. I don't think that's a fault.
Yeah, no hops. No, I don't get any. Light oak acceptable. There's like there's a little woodiness in here. Complexity of aroma is valued more than intensity, but a balanced sour presentation is desirable. Yes, I mean, it's pretty much there. I mean, I said it's more tart than sour, but I mean, I think it's there. I'm going to start, I think this is a 9, maybe 10. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm right in that same range. There's nothing wrong. My mouth is sufficiently watered and I'm ready to try it. So I think it's 9 seems good.
Okay. All right. So for appearance, I'm not sure how this is picking up on camera. I would call that a light orange, somewhere between real dark gold and like kind of pale orange. Fairly clear. Actually, I wouldn't go as far as say brilliant, but definitely on the clear side.
Yeah, yours, and you poured yours better than mine. I didn't. I poured all the lees into mine, so I'm definitely got a haze going.
Oh, you got the yeast
color
sediment in there.
Yeah, I wasn't being very careful.
Yeah, I only poured about half the bottle. And I still have a little bit left in here.
Yeah, I took mine down.
Yeah. All right. So let's check the specs on appearance. Golden color with excellent clarity and a thick, rocky, mousse-like white head that seems to last forever. Effervescent. Well, I wouldn't call it golden. It's like a real dark golden, maybe. Excellent clarity. I wouldn't. It's clear. I wouldn't say excellent. And thick, maybe like if you poured it in a flute, some kind of real narrow stange or something like that, you'd get like that, like Pilsner type foam on it. But
it doesn't feel like an effervescent product, though. I mean, I really only think maybe 1 out of 3 on this, frankly.
But I don't know. It almost seems, I would probably need to judge some other examples, but I just don't remember like Gueuze having like the huge pillowy head like they're saying. When I think big head, I think like Hefeweizen, Pilsner. I mean, it is a wheat-based beer, so yeah, you would get big foam, but I don't know. Maybe it just depends on the glass, which actually I think BJCP should start including the glassware on the specs. So
yeah, if it matters that much what glass it's in, they should.
I don't know. I mean, 1 seems harsh, especially considering the brewery. I mean, but it's definitely not a 3. I will go 2. Are you gonna get 1?
I mean, I'd give it a 1. If there's 3 things to me: color, clarity, and head/carbonation, and to me, it's only hitting 1 of those.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's dive in here. Cheers. Well, it tastes much more sour than it smells, I will say. But not.
Yeah, it's got a very distinct like grapefruit level acidity and almost a little bit of pithiness like grapefruit as well.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, it's kind of a dry sour. It doesn't have that yogurt kind of character to it. Doesn't taste like Greek yogurt the way like American sours tend to.
No, the acidity is a lot more complex than just 1 note lactic acid.
There is, I think, like almost like a green apple or pear, green pear. I don't think I wouldn't say white grape. To me, it's like very appley. It's like apples and pears. And yeah, like almost, yeah, like you said, like almost like, yeah, like a pink grapefruit kind of character, almost slightly reminiscent of like a West Coast IPA or something, but you know, obviously not from hops.
Yeah, I'm getting like a bitter orange marmalade on toast type flavor. It's really nice breadiness that actually is from the aroma. I thought it was going to be more malt character coming through too, and with the acidity and those green tart fruit flavors that are coming through and that pithiness I'm picking up on, it's not as malty as I thought it was going to be flavor wise. It's obviously bone dry, which is fantastic, but yeah, this is a delight. It's not as funky on the palate as I expected either.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's kind of reverse from the nose. The nose is like real Brett, low sour, and this is high sour, low Brett. I mean, there's definitely a tartness there. The acidity, the sourness, like on a scale of 1 to 10, this is probably about a 7, maybe 8. I've definitely had more sour beers than this.
Oh yeah.
But it's really drinkable, and I do get that wheat base to it. I mean, I wouldn't go as far as say it's like as bready as like, you know, some kind of German lager or something like that. But what do you think, Chris? She said it's very sour. Tart.
I was thinking that the acidity actually kind of levels off after those first couple sips, and I'm really liking the level of acid in this product.
Yeah. A good summer beer. It's interesting because this is I think it's one of the strongest examples of the style, because usually these are more table strength beers, you know, like 5% or lower. This is 7. So that's like even though like it's, you know, refreshing, and it's like you're tempted to, like, especially here in Florida, drink this outside on a 100-degree day, you know. I think it would kind of kick your ass though. You want like a Gueuze, G-O-S-E, not a G-U-E-U-Z-E.
Yeah, yeah, the 7% will definitely get you. The nice thing I think with that 7% though is it brings a fullness to that beer, this beer, where if it was 5% with how dry it is, it would drink a lot different. The experience to me, I really like it. I like that 7%. Granted, you can't drink as much of it, but it brings a characteristic to a Gueuze that I'm not usually familiar with or expecting, which I enjoy.
I almost get like a tiny little bit of like an oily aftertaste or sensation. Do you get that?
Yeah, it's like citrus oil to me. Not necessarily like butter oil, like diacetyl, but like yeah.
It's got to be, yeah. I mean, it's a clean flavor. It's not something that's like throwing me off. It's just kind of almost like more of a texture thing. I mean, I guess we can come back to that in the mouthfeel.
It's the pithiness that's really throwing me off the most on this. I just did not expect that level of kind of like tannic grippiness on the palate, and maybe it's from the oak, but I really appreciate it.
You know, it is that's probably what it is. It's probably tannins from the fooders.
Yep.
All right, let's check the specs for flavor. Sour and funky on the palate with a similar character as the aroma. I hate when they just say that. Whatever it smells like, it's what it should taste like. Low bready, grainy malt. Okay. Yeah, to me, I would agree. It's low bready. Really don't get grainy. Like when I think grainy, I think like German Pilsner.
Yep.
Bitterness, low to none. I agree. Sourness provides most of the balance. Yep. No hot flavor. Yeah, I don't really get any. Crisp, dry finish with a tart and funky aftertaste. Absolutely. Light oak, vanilla, and honey are acceptable. Maybe that is like, maybe I was thinking that, it's almost like a honey kind of sensation. I mean, there's no honey in the beer, just
that unctuous nature on the palate for sure.
Yeah. Should not have an enteric, smoky, cigar-like, or cheesy. Yeah, I'm not getting any of those, are you?
Nope.
Beer should not be one-dimensionally sour. I agree. A balanced, moderately sour presentation is classic with the funky and fruity notes providing complexity. Maybe aged. Yeah, ours is definitely aged. And, I forgot to mention, oddly enough, because this is a green bottle. Did you get skunkiness, light strike in yours at all?
No. Did you?
Yeah, I didn't. No, I don't get it either, which is weird because usually I pick that up right away. But good handling on that one.
Yeah.
So as far as score for this one, that's pretty high. I think that to me it's like in the 16, 17 range, maybe 18.
Yeah, I was leaning towards 18 because I wouldn't change anything with this. If I brewed this, I would be so happy with it.
All right, I'm gonna go 17. I'll give you an 18. So far, we're only off by like a point or two on each thing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so mouthfeel, how would you describe that?
Medium body, a little bit of that grippy, pithy astringency, but not a lot, like low level of it, like a good balance between the acidity. And I mean, we're a couple sips in now, so it's really hard to say, but to me, that like puckering nature was moderate initially, but it's tempered off.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of a medium, maybe medium light body. Even though this style is supposed to be really effervescent, like champagne, it's not striking me as being that spritzy. It's probably like moderately carbonated.
Yeah, same.
Nice drinkability, and actually, like on like the actual texture, which is something that I don't know if you've done the new BJCP online scoring with the sliders. Have you done that yet?
Oh, I haven't.
Well, like something they introduced now is like when you're judging mouthfeel, is like it'll actually have texture, and it's like, crisp on one end and like creamy on the other end. So like, Pilsner and oatmeal stout, actual texture. It's not quite as crisp as a Pilsner or something like that. It's, it's got definitely a smoothness to the texture. Like I said, almost slight oily or slight honey. So I would say it's very drinkable. 7% ABV. Do not get any alcohol, warmth, or taste or anything like that.
No, I'm not. I mean, I'm getting a little bit of warmth in my stomach now that I'm about halfway through this glass, but like I'm not feeling it on my palate or on the swallow or anything.
I I don't think
Yeah,
I would call it
looking at-
refreshing though.
Looking at these style guidelines, I don't necessarily think this is too style, but I'm really enjoying the mouthfeel of this.
Speaking of which, let's see what the specs say for mouthfeel. Light to medium light body, should not be watery. I agree. It's, well, I think we both said it's like medium light at the best or worst. I don't know, whatever. Has a low to high tart puckering quality while being sharply astringent. Yeah, I agree. Some versions have a very light warming character. All right, you said that. Highly carbonated. Well, I would not call it highly carbonated, and the body seemed a little bit more than what it says.
Yep.
But I mean, that whole second sentence there is on point. So I think this is, I could go 3 or 4 on mouthfeel. I'll probably say 3. What do you think?
You know, personal feeling about mouthfeel, I'm 4 or 5. Stylistically, which is what we're judging against, I'm going 3 as well. 3.
Overall impression, you know, I mean, it's one of the Belgian examples of style. I mean, really, any reason to give it less than a 50 is more about like the actual bottle in your hand, like the age and, you know, how well it was handled and all that. I don't think like they screwed up the brewing or fermentation process around here. So, I mean, I'm impressed. It's not perfect. I've had better. It's more to spec than not. I'm thinking 7 or 8. I'll probably give it an 8 for overall. What do you think?
I was leaning more towards 9 just because it
really,
I know the overall impression, it's not like it has some stylistic flaws according to what's written here by the BJCP, but like, you know, who are they to say? Like, these guys, like you said, have been making it forever. They're masters of their craft. To me, it tastes like they brewed a product that they wanted it to taste like this, and it was intentionally made the way it's made, and it's high quality, and it tastes great, and it's a wonderful experience. And, you know, it might have some knocks in the appearance and mouthfeel, but overall impression, to me, I would not have any issue giving that to a first-time person trying a Gueuze and saying anything but this is a world-class example.
I just added up, and you give it a 40. I give it a 39. So we're like right there. These are the boxes I would check. I don't think it's quite on the, you know, Hall of Fame perfect.
Sure.
But it's definitely up there. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not really sure how readily available this one is. I mean, I've seen this at Total Wine. I actually got this at a local bottle shop. I think it was like $12 for this bottle. Can't really remember. All right, so I mean, we both went pretty high for this beer. Check this out if you can get it near you. If you've had this, let me know in the comments what you think, if you agree with our score or not. And check out Brett at Urban Artifact if it's available in your town. How many states do you guys in?
I think we're in about 20. Basically every state east of the Mississippi right now.
Okay, yeah, so mostly East Coast. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool.
We're in Florida.
Yeah, I've seen you at the beer museum down the road from me. All right, so thanks to Brett. Yeah, thanks again to Brett, appropriately named for this, especially this style. And we'll see you next week. Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks, Chad.
Somebody brewed it. Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Review. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.